So next one, I want to turn on. Yeah, now I can safely turn off all the layers I just created. Just keep the boundary files turn on, and also you need to turn on this WUI response index. This one shows the risk of the wildfire. And in the and if you go to the T drive, um, on the computers in the lab, you'll find one called metadata, and there is one documentation showing uh, the definition of those index. But generally, the smallest value in this case, -9, means those areas have the highest risk of the wildfire. But not like 100-year floodplain, this one is raster data. So if you have used raster data, you know that this is not like the vector data, it's not like a shapefile. So you can now, it's very hard to play around with this raster file. So before you do any analysis using this data, the first thing you need to do is to transfer this raster file to a shapefile. So before you do that, always go to the customize and extension to check whether the special analyst in this can you see here the special analyst, you have to turn on this. But I think in the computers in the labs, all the ArcGIS has already turned on this feature, so you don't need to do this. Okay, but if you work on your own computer, always go to extensions and turn on this special analyst. Okay, before you do any raster analysis. Okay, so on the right side, you should find one thing called search here. If you cannot find this function search, if you cannot find this one, you can always go to the Windows. You see here search. You can also click this one. But generally, for most ArcGIS, you should find the search on the right side. And now you need to type raster to polygon. I usually using this search this one to find the tools I need to use in ArcGIS, because if you use the toolbox, it's sometimes very hard for you to remember every tool, the location, where to find it. Sometimes you just lost it. But if you can know the name and of the tools, you can always search here. This is what I always do. Okay, raster to polygon. Okay, just single click the raster to polygon. Input layer, input raster, you should choose this one, WUI response index. The field, you should choose value. Output, that's okay. Output, you can name it as WUI shape. It's okay, you can name it whatever you want. Okay, it's good. Always check this one. That will make your polygon make more sense, not like some weird shape. Okay, let's just click. Okay, just wait a minute. Okay, and then one layer should be added to your map. Okay, raster polygon. You see here, there's some error here. Standard. If you look at if you when you do the raster analysis, if you find this background server throw exception, that means you did everything right, but there's just something wrong with the ArcGIS. Do not worry about this. If you check the result, you found this, it's okay. Just save your file. Just save the file. Okay. Just save the file and reopen it. And when you open it, and you will not have this problem. Okay, reopen the ArcMap. If you work on computers in the lab, you should not have this problem. This takes time. I want to pause the recording, but it's just does not work. Okay. I want to check my recording to make sure it is still working. Okay, task manager. Oh, okay, it's still working. So in the ArcGIS, now you just reopen your file. Oh, it's not this one. I just saved in another place. Okay, just okay. Just wait a minute. Okay, let's do it again. Raster to raster to what? Raster polygon. Raster to polygon. Input data. It's okay, I just use the default one. Just wait a minute. One shapefile should be added to the map file. Okay. You see here? Wow, we just did it. This new shapefile, when you open it, there's one called grid code. Those values refers to the values here. So the -9 in this field exactly have the same meaning here. So what we need to do first is to select all the most negative impact area. That means those areas is under the highest risk of the wildfire. So go to the selection and select by attributes now. And you should use this grid code and equals to -9. That means those areas have the highest risk of wildfire. Okay, you see all those areas has been highlighted. And for this one, I want to use the buffer analysis. And I think Bob has already mentioned buffer in the class. The buffer will allow you to create an even larger area for the selected area. And why we do that for the wildfire? Because now we just select all the negative impact areas. Those areas have had the highest risk. But as we know, for the wildfire, it's just spread very fast, like the wind or something. It's just spread very fast. So we need to look at the surrounding area because those surrounding areas also have the risk if those selected areas has wildfire. So what we need to do is go to the jail process here. You can always use search to find the buffer, but the buffer, because it's just always used, we always use buffer, so it has been added to this jail process, so you can just find it very easily. use buffer and using this new layer. And the linear units, I will just use the 1000 feet. You can use any feet. If you do the very serious academic research, you should do the literature review to look at which buffer and radius you need to use here. And dissolve time, I always use OR. That will create just one single polygon instead of multiple parts of the polygons. So you just choose all at the dissolve tab, and then you click OK. Just keep in mind, if you want to save in anywhere else, you always need to select the output path. Okay, this new layer, those buffers means the buildings within those areas are under risk of the wildfire. So we have already created that. You see here is just one polygons. So the next step we need to do is exactly the same as the 100-year floor plan. We can also using the select by location to select all the buildings within those wildfire hazard area. Then we can connect the building port tabs. I mean, we can then connect the building footprint with the census data using the blocks, using the blocks layers. Then we can transfer the census or demographic information from the census data to the building layer. Then we can know who lives in those hazard area. Exactly the same way we just did for the 100-year floodplain. So I will not show that in this video because I want to decrease the size of the video. Okay, now we have already finished all the analysis for the hazard area.